I'll be spending a lot of time in the next couple of months saying how awesome things here are in Australia and inviting people to come to a huge YouTube gathering we're planning in Melbourne on November 26th. Having said that, it is true, lots of things here want to kill you. Totally fucked up killer wildlife? It's what we do.
Angry Aussie.
G'day viewers, the end of another week means it is indeed time once more for Totally Fucked Up Friday. And I'm going to start with one of the most fucked up events in recent history. The absolutely appalling tragedy in Norway. The mass killing by that psychotic prick who thinks he can justify just not being human. Honestly, for all the ridiculous claims of what motivated him and what conclusions you can draw from him, you can just say there's something in that piece of shit that's missing. Something that's required to make you a human being. Whether you want to call that a conscience, a soul, I don't mind. That piece of shit just is missing something that you need in order to qualify as human. But look, the response of the Norwegian people was amazing, inspiring. The courage and dignity, the declaration that the response would be more openness, more democracy, that they're not going to have their lives ruined by a psychotic like this. People around the world really need to learn from that. But of course, with any event like that, people tried to score points off it from the get-go, and it's a little bit sick. The idea that you can draw any all-encompassing conclusion from the actions of one person is ridiculous. Not least, just look at the amazingness of the Norwegian people as a whole. Yet this dick was Norwegian. You can't say, he's Norwegian, therefore all Norwegians. It simply doesn't hold up. And the idea of, look, he played violent video games, therefore all violent video games are bad. Or, he was a Christian preaching anti-Muslim views. Therefore, every Christian or every person who's opposed to Islam is just as evil. It's fucking stupid. It's actually a little difficult, though, to nail down the most totally fucked up response to the event. But let's go through a few of the most outrageous ones that I came across. First, not surprisingly, Glenn Beck, off the Fox News network, but still has a radio show, and on his radio show this week, he chose to try and distract us from the fact that the manifesto of this murdering scum is indistinguishable from the insane shit that Beck rants on a daily basis by blaming the victims. He focused on the kids who were at this political camp on the island where the gunman went to kill them, as many of them as he could, and he basically said, so who sends kids to a political camp? It's like the Hitler Youth. That's right, this piece of shit chose to blame the victims and equate them with the Hitler Youth. How does that make him rate? Take us there, animated angry. You are totally fucked up! Beck's former stablemate at Fox News didn't go anywhere near that disgusting, but chose to go with his own special brand of fucked up, going on an insane rant about how the killer wasn't a Christian, despite the fact he clearly was, proclaimed himself to be a Christian, proclaimed himself to be fighting for, the Christian religion against the Muslim religion. And how does O'Reilly come to the claim that this guy's not a Christian? Because no Christian would do something like that. I'm just going to ask for a second. The American right-wing commentators and their inability to concede a point or admit fault, that's just some pathological urge that's pretty much indistinguishable from mental illness. What do we say about O'Reilly? You are totally fucked up! But let's move away from American right-wingers. Do you know Morrissey? Morrissey got to fame in the 80s, lead singer of The Smiths, and he's been a radical vegan for as long as I know anyway. And in a series of public appearances and concerts in the last week, he's chosen to start off well, saying how appalled he was by the acts, and then hook up his own little political bandwagon to it, saying It's nothing compared to what happens in McDonald's and KFC every day. You fucking piece of shit. You know, if you don't have the basic human decency to not use other people's extreme suffering to launch your own political shit, just shut the fuck up. You are totally fucked up! But I think the prize for most totally fucked up response goes to an associate of Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. Didn't blame the victims, didn't deny the killer was a Christian. Actually said the killer had some awesome ideas. Now, I know the insane shit in this prick's manifesto is what you hear from anti-Muslim lunatics every day. The fuckwits on Fox News. Political bandwagon jumpers, just opportunists around the world. It's what they say every day. Oh, it's us or them, you know, we've got to have a war. At least have the dignity to keep that shit inside when so many people are suffering. Just shut your fucking mouth. Let's ask Animated Angry once more. What do we think? You are totally fucked up! Alright, let's move on to some stories that are at least a bit more fun. Australia and the number of things here that want to kill you. Let's go for the big obvious one first. Crocodiles. I've been talking about killer crocodiles a bit lately. Check the photo tourists snapped this week. That's one big motherfucking crocodile eating another crocodile. Not as big as him, but not all that small. Everyone's going, oh, nature, wild, crazy. Wow, look at that. And some of the tourists saying, well, you know, he was occupied with that croc. I wasn't that worried. You should be worried. You know what that croc is doing? That croc is taunting you. Because in case you don't know, you are a fuckload easier to catch and kill than another crocodile. What that big crocodile is saying in front of these tourists is, see this guy? I killed him just to show you what I can fucking do. You in that boat, you're easy by comparison, but I want you to go home and have a fucking think about what I could do to you if I want. That is one fucked up, mind game playing crocodile. Oh, and it isn't just the big scary ones that are out to get you. It's the cute ones too. You may have heard talk that kangaroos can be dangerous. Oh yes, they can. This week in Queensland, a sweet little old lady in her backyard, hanging out her washing, was attacked by a red kangaroo. This kangaroo was bigger than her, and the big male reds, I know, I'm short, we've covered this before, but these guys can easily rear up to over 2 meters. So it's jumped into this woman's yard. She's not out in the bush. She's not in a zoo. She's not bothering kangaroos. She's in her yard when a kangaroo jumps in and fucks her up, knocks her down, and is kicking her and smacking her about. Now, our friend Phyllis here is in a spot of bother, but she fought back with a broomstick, smacked it in the head, stunned it, and got inside. And can I just say, Phyllis, you're hard as fucking nails. That is an Aussie pensioner lady. Fuck with her, she'll fuck you up too. The kangaroo is still in her yard being aggro. She calls the cops. The cops have to pepper spray the roo because it won't go away. The roo's just saying, come at me, bro, come at me. So he's pepper sprayed by the cops, hauled off by Park Guy, and I believe it was put down later. All I'm saying is, watch the fuck out when you come to Australia. You don't know whether the ugly ones are waiting for you or the cute ones are lulling you into a sense of security. It's totally false and it's totally fucked up. And finally, Comic-Con. Nerd paradise. Sadly, I couldn't be there, but I like to catch up with the photos and videos of what's going on and what's coming up in the world of sci-fi and comics and all those fun things that I'm into. And of course, the cosplayers are always good, just for the fantastic costumes, and let's be frank, always lots of hot chicks at Comic-Con. But this year, one apparently went a bit too far. A former reality TV show and Playboy model, Adrianne was escorted off premises for showing a bit much. Now, this is the costume. She's dressed as Aeon Flux, an 80s or maybe early 90s cartoon character, was on MTV originally. And in case you think she's being gratuitous with that costume, that's actually just an accurate costume from the cartoon character Aeon Flux. And because it showed off too much butt, apparently, they wrapped a little shirt around her and said, "You have to go now." And she apparently just has a whole wardrobe full of nerd fetish costumes and came back in skin-tight Imperial officer uniform. I remember that scene in Star Wars. The version that played in my head. Oh, I'm just mad. Darth Vader, he's the Force thing. That's not going to be choking her. Oh, I spend a lot of time on really wrong websites to come up with stuff like that in my head, don't I? I'm sorry. But look, I have to express my outrage. Some people say, oh, it's too slutty, and it's like Slutterween, all these slutty Halloween costumes. This is Comic-Con, right? For nerds like me, this is the one chance to maybe, well, in some cases just have human contact, but certainly to be around females. Definitely to be around hot females in sexy comic character costumes. This is the one chance, and the forces that be, the authorities, Big fucking brother is gonna take it away from us! And I just thought I'd pop my head up here once more to thank the contributors. I always do, but yeah, links below to the people who do the music, the animation of Angry, and the end title animation. All awesome people. Thanks heaps, guys. Catch you all later.